people sometimes, well, not people, but some few trolls who have emailed me and messaged me and all of that and sent me on Twitter tweets and messages saying, Jose, why are you so harsh? I'm not that harsh. I just, I say the truth. And if you don't want to accept it, then that's your deal. That's your problem. But some people say, Jose, why are you criticizing so much these reactionaries, these Christian conservatives? Christianity, by its nature, shouldn't be a reactionary right-wing ideology, but it has become, what it is. And unfortunately, that's the case. Much like Islam, it's becoming a theocratic ideology. We have extremists within Islam who say, yeah, we want Sharia law, we want to cover up women, we want to execute gay people. You have all this going on. And in Russia, and I have this article here I want to talk about. In Russia, they have passed this bill that would censor gay propaganda or outlaw gay propaganda. And you might say, Jose, what is that? Well, according to Russia, it's anything that has to do with being gay. So that means you cannot have any rainbow flags, gay parade. You can't even talk about it publicly. And the people behind this are communists. Oh, yes, let me repeat that again. The people behind this hideous, oppressive legislation are communists. Oh, but the Pope says that, well, not the Pope. Well, yeah, the Pope and all these other Catholic bishops. You know how they're saying, oh, you legalize gay marriage is a communist, Maoist, Marxist, Leninist, Stalinist, any type of ist or ism that you can come up with. And it's also Nazism, right? It's Nazism if you legalize gay marriage. Even though the Nazis executed gay people, and even though the same Catholic bishops say, well, it's also communistic and it's Nazism or National Socialism, both ideologies hate each other. The Nazis hated the communists. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Nazi Germany, they did fight the Russians. Yeah. Oh. The communists have criminalized homosexuality for a long time, and also you have the Eastern European bloc of countries like the Ukraine, Belarus, and other countries like that, and also in Central Asia, communist countries that have criminalized, persecuted gay people for a long time. So how can you tell me that the gay propaganda is or the gay agenda, whatever that is supposed to be a communist thing? It's not even. It's communists hate gay people. I mean, look at Cuba, for example. Now they're talking about, okay, let's give gay people civil unions. Fidel Castro said, yeah, we send gay people, gay men particularly, because they hated gay men, to these basically concentration camps. And then he apologized. Oh, forgive me. So we have a communist-leaning country who doesn't believe in real democracy. Democracy doesn't mean that the entire majority gets to decide what minorities can do and cannot do within themselves. That's not how democracy works. And if you censor people, that means that democracy cannot work, because the only way that you have democracy is if people can talk about certain things and debate things. And if you're going to criminalize that debate, then there's no democracy. In fact, this very bill will make sure that no legislation will be brought up to counter it or to repeal it. That means if you are a lawmaker in Russia, this is it. You cannot introduce or talk about repealing this law because you are promoting homosexual propaganda and you'll be going against the law. So this law is permanent. Unless there's a clause in it that says, well, the Duma can in fact discuss homosexuality, but not everybody else. Unless that's the case, but I don't think that's... I mean, come on, we're talking about these Russians here. What do they know about democracy? They've been under Stalinist rule and Soviet rule, oppressive totalitarianism for a long time. And that's what, they'll never get rid of it. It's going to take a long time. But I just want to give you a fair warning. We need to keep these right-wing reactionaries in check because here in America, even though they export their homophobia to Uganda and other places in Africa, if you want to call it that, but we have to watch out because these people who are using Christianity to justify their means, their behavior, they will like to implement what Russia is doing. But of course we have something called the First Amendment. It won't happen here, but who knows? One day it might happen. I don't know what the future holds. And I'm not here to fearmonger you, but this is what some Christian evangelical, conservative, right-wing, reactionary rednecks of the South and the Midwest really want to do in reality. And this is their fantasy. Russia is their fantasy, is their model. Haven't you heard about that? Like Scott Lively and Rick Warren, who wears a Hawaiian shirt, by the way. Those guys are Christian ministers, and they venerate these former communist countries. They go to Belarus, Latvia, Lithuania. And they go to these countries and say, oh, wow, these are real Christian countries. Yeah, because they're fucking totalitarian countries. They're theocracies. And then they say, oh, Uganda is the example. And the example of what? Of trash? The fuck you're talking about, you lunatic? No, Uganda's not the example. What country would want to be like Uganda? What country? Whoever says that needs to have their heads checked. Fucking moron. And it's anti-American too. No. The best example in the world has always been America. We're not perfect, by all means. But we lead the world. We are the world's economy. Our currency is the world currency. We were, at least, industrious. I don't know what's going on today. No, we are the example. You reactionary, Southern, Confederate, secessionist, theocrat, reactionary. Shut the hell up. Anyway, let me read you a bit about this article. It's pretty interesting. And this is from the Christian Science Monitor. So this is a Christian sort of semi-reactionary website. The public battle over the draft law has highlighted two different visions of Russian democracy and pitted them against each other. No, that's actually one version of it, and that's whatever the majority wants. Hey, if 5 white guys voted to hang a black guy, what's stopping you? What's stopping them from hanging that one lone black guy? That's how we used to do it in the South. 5, 6, 7, 10 white guys here, we voted to hang you. Democracy rules, mob rule. That's what you want. What we are is a constitutional democracy and a republic. We're not a communist country like Uganda or Russia or Lithuania. So stop it with these daydreams about, oh my God, and gagaing over these stupid petty countries that do nothing. The bill, which passed its first Duma reading late last month, just one deputy opposing it. Oh, real democracy, isn't it? Will outlaw gay parades and gay-themed events, as well as ban the dissemination of information about lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender issues. In other words, if you want to repeal this law in a couple of decades or so, you can't. It's against the law to repeal the law. Oh, that's democracy at work, isn't it? It heads into crucial second reading early next week, with most experts saying it enjoys overwhelming political support and is unlikely to see any major amendments. The draft law would impose fines of up to $165 for individuals who violate the rules and up to $165,000 for organizations. Supporters of the bill, which is strongly backed by the powerful Russian Orthodox Church, which is in line with the Roman Catholic Church, the Vatican, is the center of all Christianity. It doesn't matter what church you see. A lot of people say, "Well, I'm Lutheran. I am a member of the Metropolitan Church of Christ." Okay, fine, but it's all of the traditions, the rituals, and the teachings. They're all coming from the Vatican. It doesn't matter if you're Southern Baptist. It doesn't matter if you're an independent, whatever you call yourself. Get that through your head, alright? Argue that Russia is a non-Western and conservative. There you go. And by the way, the Christian Science Monitor, they put that word conservative in quotations. Yeah, because they don't want to say, wait, we American conservatives are way different. We don't want to censor gay people. Actually, yeah, you do. Well, not the traditional conservatives. Reactionary conservatives, the teabaggers, the Southern Dixiecrats, these people want to do this. They hate gay people, and you know how they do it, right? Stop shoving it down my throat. So if somebody exercising their freedom of speech, you know how you people talk about freedom of speech all the time? Oh, the baker who didn't want to bake that wedding cake for that lesbian couple, he has a right, freedom of speech, to express himself. Well, what about you? And what about me, actually? Why can't I express myself? Why can't we go down the street and have a gay parade? And when we do, you complain. You say, "You're shoving it down my throat." Because they have the same mentality as these Russian communists. That's what they... And they're all about, fighting communism and the John Birch Society, which are in line with these right-wing reactionaries. They're all about the communists and fighting communists, yet they had communist sympathizers within that organization. What a joke that was. You can research that on your own, by the way. And they argue that Russia is a non-Western and conservative democracy that defends traditional values and shields the feelings of the majority from the aggressive encroachments of pushy minorities. Does that sound familiar to you? I don't want to be partisan, but it sounds kind of familiar to a certain political party platform. Let me repeat that again. Supporters of the bill, which is strongly backed by the Russian Orthodox Church, aka the Vatican, argue that Russia is a non-Western and conservative democracy that defends traditional values and shields the feelings of the majority from the aggressive encroachments of pushy minorities. Where do we hear that here in the U.S.? Well, Family Research Council. Oh, we're the victims. We've been shot at by a crazy gay guy. Ooh, yeah, right. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. The Liberty Council. And they always, these fascists, because that's what they are, they sympathize with this type of Russian communist totalitarianism. That's they always adopt these silly, totally contradictory names to fool people. Liberty Council, Family Research Council, Alliance Defending Freedom. No. Shutting up gay groups, shutting them down, union busting. Oh yeah, freedom, right? Dumbasses. They say they're not out to persecute gay people. Again, where do we hear this? Also here in the U.S. Reactionary right-wingers as well. They like to say, oh, no, we're not after gay people. But they must not be allowed to bring their sexual orientation to the open. In other words, don't shove it down my throat. When somebody says to you, don't shove your perversion down my throat, they mean they want to shut you up. They mean that you don't have a right to express yourself. That's what they want. When have you seen a gay rights activist, even Weenie Dan Savage, I don't know about him, but a regular, normal, rational thinking gay activist, when have you seen a gay activist go out there and say, you know what, you Christian conservatives, shut up. Don't shove it down my throat. But we can say that. It's our freedom to say that. But that would be totally hypocritical, obviously. But since I'm not a gay activist, I think I am able to handle that a little bit. And I'm not here to say that you don't have a right to say it. I'm just here to say that you're stupid by saying really stupid things. Can I say that? I don't want to get myself tied up in circles here, so anyway. Yeah, but they say they're not out to persecute gay people, but they must not be allowed to bring their sexual orientation to the open where it may influence the attitudes of minors and offend the beliefs of most Russians. In other words, don't shove it down my throat. I don't want my kids near this. Where do we hear this? Prop 8 campaign, the anti-gay marriage crowd. Oh no, they're going to teach this to our children. This is the same mentality. They want to shut us up. They want to censor us. They want to take away our First Amendment right. That's their ultimate fantasy and goal. And that's why we have to keep them in check.